Hey YouTubers, my name's Paul and we're going to take a look at my 2018 Thor Synergy 24TT Class C RV Mercedes diesel chassis with a Leaky Skylight. We'll go ahead and do a little quick walk around, but we'll get to the Skylight here. We'll scramble up on the roof. We'll take a look at the Skylight, how I tried to repair it initially, and then how I've repaired it, I think, permanently from the inside. All right, here's our 24TT. One of these days, if my very first YouTube goes well, I may show some of the mods that I've done on this. I've done extensive modifications to this rig to better prepare it. All right, and here we are up on the roof. Very busy roof, as you can see. A lot going on here on this rig. Be careful we don't step on a solar panel. But here is the Leaky Skylight. It's a Dometic brand. I actually have that's going to be backwards, but I might try to get a shot from it from the inside. And there's also a brand name. I think Dometic might actually be the plexiglass, and the frame is made by somebody else. And I'll show you that inside. But this Skylight sprang a leak this summer, a pretty serious leak. You can see I had some of the, oh my gosh, it escapes me right now, the tape, Permabond tape. I actually tried to repair it on an actual camp out. So you can see I went around the corners and around the front. But with those hinges there, you just cannot get a good seal. You can see I piecemealed it, tried to get it way up in there as best I can, and it still leaked. It didn't make a bit of difference. And I think the reason is, I'll show you inside, it didn't seal. I think what happened is maybe when I was up here waxing the rig, or doing something, washing it, I may have pushed against this, and there's a seal on it that I think began leaking, and I'll show you why. We're gonna scramble down the ladder here and turn this off again while I'm going down the ladder. No sense in getting you sick. All right, YouTubers, we are looking at a Skylight in a 2018 Thor Synergy 24TT, and I have the framing out of it. We have a leak, and so I'm going to show you what I think is the problem. And this is a Skylight from Seitz. You see them, they're very prevalent in the RV industry. And this one's been leaking. I have a 2018 rig and it's been leaking for a while. You can see I've taken this frame out. That goes up here, so I'll kind of show you how that comes out of there. And we'll get to what I think the problem is here momentarily. But the framing comes out of here quite easily. There's like 5 of these screws. Just pop these off. Be a little careful, but they just put a little thin screwdriver in there, or get your fingernail underneath it, and they come off quite easy. They pop off, and then what you have is a screw here, another screw here behind that screening, and then there's 2 more screens. So there's 1 screw here and 1 screw here, and that frame just pops right out of there, and that's what you end up with. Now the problem, I believe, this is that Skylight / emergency hatch exit / it has a screen on that frame that I just showed you, or a Skylight sunshade. So these just show you how these work. They just pop up and down. So I'm sorry to get all that, but at any rate, I've had a leak for about a year, and you can see where I think some of the water's coming through here and over here, and it's not leaking into the roof, or fortunately, or staining my ceiling at all. But what it is doing, it leaks and drips down through that frame I just showed you. And here is the problem, I believe. This is the way this came from the factory. You can see these clamp downs are not fully tightened down onto the plywood framing. So this skylight is really just basically laying on there with whatever you know, caulk they might have put on the top. Now I put Permabond tape on the outside of this on the roof, and it didn't do any good. It didn't touch the leak at all. So I got something else going on. And so what you see I've done here is I've taken 2 screws, I've backed the screw out, put 2, I think those are 7/16 screws, and reinserted this screw back in and tighten it down. You can see it's nice and tight now. And what I hope that will do is you can feel there's a gasket along here and it's still nice and tacky. I just don't think this frame was doing a sufficient job of holding that down. Now, these are the only 2 out of the 12 or so that were actually close to being tight, but I'm gonna back that one out too and put 1 nut on it. And what happens if you try just to run these home from here, they just, this plastic, they just won't go anymore. Even using an impact, you know, driver, which I really don't want to do. I don't want to crack this either. So I'm just backing them out, putting these 2 nuts on. I'll show you how I do that. Just grab 2 nuts and take one of the screws. Well, this is going to be hard to do one-handed, but here's what we'll do. We'll skewer them. There's one. You do have to turn them just a little bit, but they'll screw right on there. They'll screw right on there. You can see that one. Put another one on here. And run it on there. And then you take that and put it in and screw it home. So I'm going to tighten all these down. I'm going to put 1 nut or 2 on each one, depending on how tight or loose it is. And I'm going to leave the frame off until we get our next rainstorm and see if I've got this fixed. Okay, and one more thing I'm doing here. That's about a 1-inch wood screw. And again, went to the toolbox. On these brackets, you can see these, well, you can't see them there because I filled them, but there you can see one hole there, and I have put a screw in there. This one I've yet to do. It's got the hole there. Hopefully you can see that with the sun, but these brackets came with, of course, holes to secure it to the framing, and still have to do those there. But you know, these RV companies in their never-ending haste to do things as quickly as possible don't bother to put anything in there. So I'm driving these wood screws to give these brackets a better purchase on that framing. So when I tighten down all these screws, I'm really going to get hopefully a good bite. So again, just a little bit more info on what we're doing here, and again, hopefully this is the fix. Okay everyone, here's what the finished product looks like. The reason I'm showing that tag there on the top of that skylight is apparently it's a Dometic product made by that company I spoke of earlier, Stents or whatever it was. But here's what the finished product looks like. I've got 2 nuts on every one of these brackets, and I've got 2 corresponding wood screws attaching it to the frame on every one. And what I did here was I ran them down pretty good with a impact screwdriver, but then stopped and have been literally tightening these things up for the last 10 minutes with a hand screwdriver and a nut driver, because these are, nut driver. You want to use a nut driver, not a four-sided. Instead of, it will take a Phillips, but you'll probably strip them out. And I have literally gone around this thing probably about 7 or 8 times and just tightened and got another quarter turn on all these, because I think that gasket hasn't been, oh, there goes the dog dish. That gasket hadn't been tightened down in so long. I think it was taking a while to get scrunched down. So that's that. Tripping over the ladder. Again, I want to show that there's the rig there. All right, YouTube, it's time to go check on the RV here. Come on, Izzy. There you go. Dog doesn't like to get out in the rain, but she doesn't like being inside either. So yeah, you can see it. Yeah, raining steady. Been raining for a couple hours now, so we're gonna go out here to the RV and see if we got this fixed yet here. Okay, there go the stairs. I don't see any dripping on the floor, so that's a good sign. Let's see here. Well, looks dry. I think we have done the job, everybody. Yeah, key is to just reef those things down as hard as you can. And I've literally gone around these things probably a dozen times now and just tightened, and they can take a lot of reefing. I mean, I'm 6 foot, almost 200 pounds, in pretty good shape, and I literally got to where I was putting the screwdriver or the nut driver in there and literally spinning myself and using my body weight to torque those things down. So they are tougher than they look, the screw and the plastic part. So any rate, I think I'm going to leave this off for another 24 hours, let it continue to rain, see if I have this thing completely done. But it looks like we've been successful in stopping the leaks. All right, YouTube, here's the finished product here in the rig. It's kind of late, but it's been raining all day and we're dry as a bone in here. So the repair was successful, and here's a look at the finished product. So just here with my light, I put the frame back in. You can see I have one of the covers on, and then here is one of the screws there. You can see one screw there, another screw on the side here. For some unknown reason, here on the front portion of it here, they do not have screws to hold it in. That's why you see a little gap up here, which is frustrating, but it's more RV mystery, how stuff is made in the RV industry. But there it is. I'll see if I can't show you putting on one of these covers over here, if I can. And just go in there like that, and you push them on. And you just snap right in. All right, there it is. I'll put the other two in, and hopefully this has helped somebody in YouTube world out there with a leaky RV Skylight.